Now, Rowan McCabe is a poet, but not just any poet. He's the world's first and only door-to-door poet who knocks on strangers' doors and writes them poems about the things that they feel are important. Rowan also performs on stages as well as doorsteps, and he's appeared at the Glastonbury Festival and the Royal Albert Hall. He was the winner of the 2015 Great Northern Slam, and his work has been featured on BBC Radio and in The Guardian. We give you a round of applause from this end, Rowan. I gather you're in Radio Newcastle, is that right?
That's right, yeah. That was rapturous. Thanks very much.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I heard you on Radio 4, I think, one morning on the Today programme. And I thought, a door-to-door poet? Are you kidding me? Do you do this for a living?
I do, at the minute, yeah.
How does it work?
I pick an area and I start knocking on doors there. If someone answers, I ask if they've got a minute. If they say yes, then I do a poem that asks them what's important.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a chat about it. And I go away, write them something, bring it back and perform it on the doorstep, as well as giving them a written copy to take away.
Oh, that's great. So it must be difficult because you say, have you got a minute? They think, want to sell them something or something like that, right?
Well, so I say I'm doing an art project, which I think is a good way around it, because if I said I'm doing poetry, a lot of people would say no thanks. And if you just said, have you got a minute, I think you're right. Yeah, they'd think I was selling like window cleaners or something.
Now, how long have you been doing it then, Rowan?
About a year and a half now.
But you studied English, didn't you, at university? So was the plan always to be a poet or a writer of some kind?
Kind of. I knew that I liked writing, but
Yeah.
I kind of got into it the long way around, because when I left uni, the idea of trying to be a professional poet was ludicrous. You know?
I was going to say, I mean, you do it for a living. Where did the idea come from for being a door-to-door poet? And if people say, yes, write me a poem, then they discuss it with you. What do? Ask them for money afterwards?
No, so it's funded by the Arts Council.
Ah.
It felt really important not to ask for any money, actually, because then I'd end up just writing poems for people who were already interested in poetry.
Yeah. How long does it take you? Imagine you're knocking on Tim Smith's door, okay, in Oxford.
Yep.
You say, have you got a minute? And he says, yes. He tells you a little bit about his life, would he?
The only question I ask is what's important to you, and that can be anything. I mean, I've had things as varied as I hate snakes to I'm worried there's going to be a World War III to I like spaghetti hoops. It just depends what people are feeling that day.
So the subject matter is very wide then, to say the least. I'm worried at the moment about, I think I've got a loose panel in one of my fences. It's causing sleepless nights. Could you write me a poem about that? Not now, obviously.
Well, what does this panel join on to?
It joins onto other parts of the fence, but to my mind, it's a metaphor for life in general at the moment. It's all falling apart at the seams, isn't it?
Wow, there we have it, you know. It's the broken fence of the world that we live in. That's beautiful. I mean, that just writes itself.
That's
isn't
something
it?
to go away and work on. But that's the kind of thing you would do with somebody, is it?
Yeah, and it's always, I suppose, a case of me trying to steer the conversation towards something I feel passionate about.
Tell me about Dr. Dave. You met this guy, Dr. Dave, right?
Yeah, he was one of the first people I met.
And then you wrote a poem about him.
That's right.
We can find out all about him by listening to a little bit of the poem that you wrote about him, if we may.
There's a doctor in North Shields who treats his patients like his equals and preaches power to the people. His name is Dr. Dave. He's the anti-establishment GP, the healthcare revolutionary, like Che Guevara, but less hairy. He wears the same beret. If you want kebab and chips and you don't want to hear the risks of it daily slipping round your lips, he'll say no more about it. He's not going to lecture you until his wizened cheeks turn blue. There's loads of options there for you, but he's not going to shout it. Dr. Dave. Dr. Dave, he won't say you need to behave or stop you going to a rave in a snake-infested bog. You could smoke 50 a day and give up walking for Segway while drinking bleach with lemonade. Guilt-tripping's not his job, and I know there'll be some people who'll think that it's despicable that Dr. Dave's so liberal when it comes to giving lessons. Their heads will shake till they spin off, and just before it they'll all scoff. Those scumbags need a telling off! Where's Dr. Christian Jessen? But from each shivering student drinker, out without a coat in winter, to lard ingesting pensioners who didn't want so long, will spend the most time in the grave, and no one ever changed their ways because they heard a doctor say, I'm right and you are wrong.
Wow.
That is fantastic. Now, you really are turning this that you do into a kind of show, right?
This is the plan. It's being written at the minute.
Okay. And you're going to be at the Edinburgh Fringe at the Banshee Labyrinth from the 5th to the 27th of August at 4 p.m. every day except Thursdays, we understand. So at the Edinburgh Fringe, I mean, that's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's still kind of equal amounts terror and excitement at the minute.
Yeah.
I think once it's written, it'll be a bit less scary.
Now, what can we say about you? You'll be continuing to go round to knock on people's doors. What's the plan? I mean, what...
Looking for areas, aren't you, to go to rather than individual houses? And you want particular areas of interest that you can go and visit and write poems about. Is that right?
That's right, yeah. So I want to take the idea on the country now and do what I've done in the Northeast. I'm interested in hearing from anyone who thinks they live in an interesting area for whatever reason that might be. And I'd like, at the end of it, for the whole project to reflect England and Britain today.
And can people get in touch with you?
Definitely, yeah. If anyone's got any areas that they think would be interesting, they can go to doortodoorpoetry.com. And there's a little box that says contact, and all the details are in there.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thanks for coming on. And best to Dr. Dave if you ever see him again. He sounds like a good doctor to me.
It does.
Rowan McCabe, everybody, the door-to-door poet. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Steve. Cheers.
Bye-bye.